My name is Mary Guthrie, and I'm from the Cheyenne League of Women Voters. And today I am going to interview Dave Zwonitzer, who is a candidate for House District number 8. Welcome, Dave.
Good morning, Mary.
It is a good morning. I hope that you're ready to answer these wonderful questions that the League has devised for you. First of all, just tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, why you're running, and what you think you can accomplish for the representatives of House District number 8.
Well, Mary, thank you again. And I would really like to thank the League of Women Voters for putting this on. So my family moved me here when I was 3, and I went through the Cheyenne school system. I ended up going to the University of Wyoming, got a master's in water resources. And to achieve that, I was a farrier. Sometimes I don't mention that, but a farrier, for those who don't know, is a horseshoer. And that's how I paid my way through college. After I got out of college, I started a business called Western Auction, and then we proceeded to go and have one called Z's Home Furnishings, and I believe that's where most people know me from. But as we got going, I did get excited about getting into the legislature, and I have served 10 terms in the legislature. Took a 6-year, or not 10 terms, 10 years, 5 terms. Took a 6-year break, and then I came back in 2 years ago. And so this particular term, I am serving on the Appropriations Committee. So learning an awful lot about the legislature and, what happens in it. You asked me what motivated me. I've just loved the county. I loved being in the legislature. I enjoy problem solving, looking at issues and trying to solve some of those and working with the money. The Wyoming balances their budget. And so we get the money in, we do some projects that need to be done in the state, but we always have a little money left to put in our savings. And that's a big plus at the end of the day. And it's going to help us down the future.
So thank you for that answer. But then let's turn to the questions that deal with specific aspects of your representation in the legislature. What specific policies or reforms do you think Wyoming could effectively implement to reduce healthcare costs for the uninsured or the underinsured?
Well, I believe the main answer to that would be like Medicaid expansion. And we've looked at that over the years. I have to tell you, the first couple of terms that I was in the legislature, I was totally against it because it was big government coming in, and I didn't want to be doing anything that was going to help the big government. But, we've been through a lot of presidential terms, and nobody has tried to change this. And now it's a situation where Wyomingites are donating money to the federal government, and they're going to other states, to other people, and we're just losing out. And we need that because we got hospitals that are really in trouble at the moment. We're about to lose a couple. And so the other thing I guess I would look at, over the years, we've had some medical commissions, and that's where you bring everybody in, and they're trying to get to the same goal, which is how to lower healthcare costs. And those commissions have been very helpful, and we hope to get another one put back together. And if everybody comes and everybody's working towards the same goal, I think we have a chance of continuing reducing healthcare costs.
Thank you. I'd like to turn to a question that deals with education. What accountability and performance measurement standards should be required for all schools, including public, private, and charter schools?
Well, my answer would be that they all need to be the same. They all have to have the same accountability, and they all have to be working on the same level. We're kind of in an interesting point right at the moment because there is a lawsuit out there. But what we're doing is having the Department of Education and the Wyoming Education Association getting together, looking at what we need to be doing. So there may be a few rules that change in the background, but so we'll have to see what other standards come and what recommendations are, but they need to be the same throughout, no matter if it's private, charter, public.
Thank you. We now have an interesting little feature that we call flash feedback. So I'm going to give you a word or phrase, and you have 30 seconds to a minute to tell me what comes to your mind. Cheyenne Frontier Days.
I got to wait a minute before I answer. Well, yippee-ki-yay, and it's coming this week. For Laramie County, it's the big booster. And it's what we all most all of us here in town, we get excited about. It's when we have our company. It's when the businesses in Cheyenne, especially the small businesses, which is one of the reasons I got into the legislature, they have a chance to thrive. And it makes the biggest impact in the world, as do all the rodeos across the state. I don't want to diminish those, but Cheyenne Frontier Days is the big one. We're looking at expanding the parking, so to get more people up there. And I'm just excited about it. Can't wait to have all the night shows and the rodeos. And of course, Slack and stuff's going on now. So if you have anybody come and get them there. So
Obviously, you weren't at a loss for words with that flash feedback. Let's then turn to the economic world. What infrastructure investments do you think are necessary to support the state's long-term economic growth?
Well, infrastructure is important. And as you look at infrastructure, you really have to look at the highway systems. We have to keep them going. We're a state of 600,000, give or take a few, and we got a lot of miles of roadway to maintain. But the infrastructure also includes cities, sewers, power lines, stoplights. And I think the big thing that we have done in the legislature over the years that I'm really excited about is our business-ready parks. Because one of the limitations for businesses coming into Wyoming was they would come in, but there was just too much red tape. Now they can come in Cheyenne especially, but also others, and they have things they can just move right in. The red tape's taken care of. And so that type of infrastructure is important. And we can't forget the schools. Schools are very important to maintain them. You need a place that teachers want to go and teach their kids. But more importantly, you want a place where the kids want to go and learn. And so all that put together and still being able to put a little money in savings at the end is a home run for Wyoming.
Thank you. So the last question is, how would you engage in constructive dialogue with those who have opposing views?
Well, I think the legislature is a great source of that. We have a lot of committees, standing committees. We have working groups. We have task force. And those environments are where people with different opinions on whatever particular subject it is can come and express freely. And it's in an environment that has parameters. And so we like to keep those going. When we get in any other meeting sort of situations, I think it's really important to let everyone know the reason we're here is we're after the same common goal. We want to achieve something. We're not here to hear opinions, complaints, what has happened. We want to look to see how can we get this thing solved. And so anytime you get a medium-sized group, smaller group, that's important. Of course, one-on-one is the best place, to get some true answers.
Well, Dave, thank you for your thoughtful responses to these questions. And now I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to provide a closing statement. Tell me why, again, you are running, and if elected, what you hope to achieve and what strengths you would bring to the office.
Okay. Well, I kind of mentioned why I was running. The strengths that I bring, institutional knowledge. As I mentioned once that, there's only 16 of the 62 House representatives that have 3 years or more experience. And I would suggest to you in a citizen legislature, we don't walk in with a staff. It takes 3 terms to just kind of get your hands around the whole situation and what's going. So institutional knowledge is something that I bring. Serving on appropriations, I really got a well-rounded sense of a lot of things that are going on, concerning the budget and not just the social issues. So I think what I bring, I think my main component has aligned himself with what they call the Freedom Caucus. And so not only do I like, liberties and freedoms and constitutionality, because we deal with constitutionality all the time. I also have that experience. I've been around the ballpark. I can help so we're not spending a lot of time discussing stuff that's been discussed, the 10 previous years. And so we take a lot of votes, and it's been kind of sad. There's a lot of dark money coming into the state with some publications that are negative. And, I think we just want to stay positive. And I'm worried about the growth of Laramie County and where it's going to be in 10 years, 20 years. And that's why I've mentioned the word savings 2 or 3 times. too bad that wasn't my keyword, because I want the state to be here in good shape in 10 or 20 years for our kids and our grandkids. And we do that by putting money into savings. And just so everybody knows, we do have 35 to 40% of our expenses gets paid through our savings accounts. And, and that's just imperative. That's how we want to go. And for those others who have maybe moved here from out of state, it's very important to know that Wyoming, we bring money in, we pay our bills, we improve projects through the state, but we balance our budget. We balance our budget. We're not one of those states that are borrowing to get through to the next term. So with that, I would say that I have a lot to offer the constituents here in House District 8, and I would ask for your vote. Please consider me when you go to the polls. I think it's important for our county. And once again, Mary, I'm going to turn it back over to you, and I appreciate everything the League of Women Voters are doing. Thank you.
And Dave, we certainly appreciate your involvement in the democratic process, and good luck in your race. And we'll sign off.